Yeah, so I guess you could say I'm pretty lucky, given the nature of the accident. Even up at the windshield, you can see some of the shatter. Now, if I hit a concrete building at the force that I hit the tree and the bushes with, I probably wouldn't be here now. I'd probably be gone forever. So I must thank my lucky stars that I survived this. Thank God and Jesus above and my parents for looking over me and the guardian angels, because this, I would never have imagined I could survive from the impact of this accident. As you can see, I'm looking at the inside, and they took the parts, and you can see all the metal. Yeah, it's total, that's for sure. The insurance reps they came yesterday. I haven't met with them yet, but I'm assuming that it's a total loss. It's not drivable, and I guess it's going to wind up in the junkyard. They surrendered the plates to me, so I got to go to DMV, and I'm grieving now because this is something I owned. But as people say, material things can be replaced, including a car, but a life cannot. So I must be thankful that I'm still walking the face of the earth. And like I said, I'm not being overly dramatic. I was very lucky that the airbags deployed, front and back. And I'm just thankful that my son wasn't in the car, because I usually go out with him, and God forbid what could have happened to him. But now that's just mere speculation, thankfully. And here are some other parts that are damaged, and yeah, this is bad. Yeah, I'm depressed right now. It's just, I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. The receptionist took some pictures of me by my car, which is not my car anymore. The insurance company is going to take ownership. I have to surrender the title. And then here's the, yeah, this is the damage all in the front. I mean, if it extended more to the inside or interior, it could have been deadly. Basically, the windshield, with the exception of the part that shattered, is still intact. And the airbags protected me. And, you know, the dashboard still seems to be workable. When I had my door open, the little beeping sound still worked. So, what can I say? This is my goodbye to my car. And then I surrender the license plates to DMV. I had this car for less than 2 years. About a year and 10 months. 2 months shy of a 2-year period that I own this car. Well, there's nothing I can do. Just can look at this and put it out of my mind forever, and just be grateful that I'm still here. It's not my turn. It's not my turn. I still have work to do, especially for my son. So I'm grateful to be here. So one last look-see at the car. The side, you would never know it's in an accident unless you looked on the inside. See, it is a hybrid, so I was contributing to the safety of the environment. It was part electric, part gas. I loved the car. How could you not? It was a beautiful car. My favorite color for a car, black. I can't even get under the hood, but you can see that it is affected by the accident, by the impact. And yeah, it's a total loss. It is the result of a high impact collision. I was going about 40 to 45 miles per hour. I swerved right to avoid hitting the car in front of me and to avoid getting hit in the back by the car behind me. So when I swerved right, I was just lucky enough to, well, I also hit the curb and went airborne slightly into the trees. And I thought right before impact that I was gonna die. I was bracing for my death. So I guess I'm lucky because I'm still here. I'm shaken up. I still relived the accident in my mind. My psychiatrist said it's gonna be that way for quite a while. And hopefully I'll get back on the horse and be able to drive and be able to get another car. I don't know what's going to happen with the insurance because I still owe 5 years on this car. So, and I've never been in an accident of this magnitude. I've had minor accidents, but this is not a minor accident. And there's my manuals for when I first bought the car. That's no good now, so I'm leaving it. And I guess still I'll dispose of it. So that's it. Did I ever call this car by a female name? I don't even know. I guess if I did name it, I would name her Sierra. Sierra. That's my name that I would give to this car. But unfortunately I didn't give it a name. And now Sierra, maybe I shouldn't name it because the car is dead. And I don't want to associate a name with car totaled. Total loss. That's it. Farewell. Farewell. This is where the impact took place, right in the front. Right in the front. There's a side view. Pretty bad. I didn't know what to expect, but when the receptionist said the car is beyond totaled, now I can see why. Because it is beyond totaled. Okay. I'm at the body shop where my car was taken on Sunday after the cops went around and did their preliminary review. I guess I'm pretty lucky that I walked away from this accident. I wasn't sure what to expect when I called to say I needed to come and empty the contents of the car, and the woman, the receptionist at the body shop, said that when I asked her if it's totaled, she said no, it's beyond totaled. So I would likely agree with her. This is a car I bought in October of 2017. It's very sad, but what can I do? All I can say is I'm lucky, and I'm not being over dramatic or anything, But I would say I'm pretty lucky to survive an impact like this. And if this was, instead of a tree and bushes surrounding the tree, which cushioned the impact, the force propelled back to me, I believe that deflected the force. I was an engineering major, so we all learned about force and mass and the motion of the vehicle, kinetic energy displaced. The back, you would never know it was in the accident because the damage is all in the front, and it makes sense because the front was where I made direct impact. Hi, my name is Emily Iannelli. I made a video yesterday, like a compilation of pictures I took when I went to the body shop, the collision shop where my car was towed after my accident on Sunday. And I didn't know what to expect, you know, and I knew when I lost control of my car, I was going around 45 miles an hour, and I knew that I had to take quick action after realizing there was something wrong with the accelerator, apparently, where I had no control over regulating the speed. And when I went to the brake, I had no control of slowing the car down either. It was like the simultaneous failure of the accelerator combined with the braking system. So it was like they both affected each. And I was like, I didn't know what to do. My car's going 45 miles an hour. I have a car in front of me, not that far. And I have a car in back of me, not that far. And I have cars to the left of me because I'm in the right lane. And I just lost total control of the car. And I'm a very safe, defensive driver, conservative. So I've never encountered this experience. And it was horrifying. I mean, it was so bad that if I didn't react quick enough and I stayed on the straight where I was heading, I would have plowed into the car behind me at 45 miles an hour. God knows what could have happened if that was the case. And the car behind me would have plowed into my car because he wouldn't have had enough time to stop either. So it would be one car, one in front of me, my car, and then the car behind me. And God knows what about the other surrounding cars. I don't know. It's all speculation. But 3-car accident, direct impact, high speed, we could have all died. Or someone could have died. And I could have died, you know. And so I took swift action. So to avoid the car in front of me, I swerved to my right. And I had no idea where I was going to wind up. All I knew is I had to avoid hitting this car in front of me, because otherwise it would be catastrophe. So when I swerved right, not knowing where I was going, I hit a curb. And this all happened instantly. You know, it's like that. I hit the curb, and then I went slightly airborne. And before I know it, I'm in a tree with bushes. But up until that time I made contact, I was literally bracing for my death. I mean, I really thought, okay, this is it. This is how I'm going to die. You know, you have this wondering how you're going to die, the whole mystery of life. You know, and you think too much, it makes you sick up here. Well, literally, I thought that was going to happen. I thought, okay, this is it. You know, what can I do? And I started thinking of my son and my family and this whole momentary instant of time. And then when I made impact, the airbags, front and back, fully deployed. I was lucky I had my seatbelt on. And I was dazed, confused, bewildered, shocked. And all I knew was I had to get the hell out of that car. and I forgot my phone. So I was very scared, and I went back looking frantically for my phone. And luckily, I found it. I grabbed it. I got the hell out of that car, fell to the ground. I started crying. And then within moments, like a bunch of cars pulled over, and people ran out to see what if I was okay. And I was overwhelmed with all these people. I was like freaking, I was like in total shock. Everything was surreal to me. And the uh, the whole accident took place so fast. And if I made one wrong move, where instead of swerving, I went and hit directly into that car in front of me, it would have been a catastrophe. And I was very lucky. And then the first police officer on the site, first at the scene of the accident, knew me because he'd be at my house in other instances where I needed to be taken to the hospital, resulting from my depression and my contemplating suicide and threatening suicide on the phone with third parties. So he knew me, and and he even suggested that this may have been a suicide attempt. And I said no, it wasn't. It was something wrong with my accelerator, and I had no control, and I couldn't brake to bring the car to a halt. I couldn't skid, nothing. So I told him that. He looked at my car and he said, I asked, is it totaled? Now the front, you couldn't see because it was under tree and bushes, so you couldn't see the front. But regardless, even though he couldn't see the front because of the way the car was positioned, I asked him, is it totaled? And he looked at me after, getting an image of that car, and he said, yes, it's totaled. So when I was taken to the hospital, they did a lot of tests, x-rays, and I was in there under supervision for like 4 or 5 hours, going through all these x-rays. And also when everything came back negative, they then had an attending psychiatrist who asked me lots of questions, and I spoke with her. And then she had left for like an hour, and then I heard they wanted me to get dressed again, so I put on my dress, and I was taken to area 4, where I'd been a lot before, and there I sat for like another 8 hours, not even seen yet by the psychiatrist. And then when the psychiatrist came, she knew my history because I've seen her many times at Nassau University Medical Center, where I was taken after the accident. And when I explained everything to her, she was like, she had mixed feelings. Should I let you go, or should I admit you? And then she discovered that I attempted suicide in January of 2019, 2 days before my birthday. I'm 58 now. And she then said, oh no, you have to be admitted. And then I said, no, I can't be admitted because I have to call the insurance company, I have to call Toyota, I have to try to get an attorney, and I have to pay my mortgage, and I have other expenses I have to pay. So, I said it's impossible right now because I can't do this in the hospital, and I don't want to, let this go. I mean, I just was in a major car accident. My car was totaled. And if I'm in the hospital, how the heck am I going to get in touch with these people that I need to get in touch with? So she relented and she said, okay, but I want you to promise me that if you're still having difficulties, because I also told her I'm reliving this accident in my mind on repeat, and I can't get away from it. I'm losing sleep, Well, at the hospital it's hard to sleep anyway because you don't have a bed. You're in just a general waiting area before you'd be transported to a floor dedicated to people with psychiatric and emotional problems, where I was in the past. So, and when I was in with my suicide attempt in January, I was there at NUMC going through the physical stuff, see the effects of the overdose of my prescription medication, and then after a week's time, I was transferred to South Oaks because they didn't have a bed for me in their psychiatric ward. So she was concerned about my history, and she's seen me many, many times. In fact, I was supposed to have the sex change surgery in 2017. That was the first attempt, and it was postponed because I was in the psych hospital. So this is going to be the 5th attempt for my surgery, which is scheduled for September 10th, 2019. So I figured if I'm in the hospital, they're going to delay the surgery or postpone it or just not do it because of my history. So I don't want that to affect that either. So, but she made she and I had to make a promise that if I'm having trouble sleeping, I keep reliving this accident in my head. She wants me to get in touch with the police, have them take me to NUMC, National University Medical Center, and she's gonna most likely admit me for at least 2 weeks. So I need to get in touch with her on Monday to let her know. And today's Friday, so basically over the weekend I have to sleep on this. And I did make an early appointment with my psychiatrist at Mount Sinai, who's helping me to, prepare for the surgery up here too. So he said that even if you're in the hospital, it's not for a suicide attempt. It's for you're in a state of shock, but you're traumatized. He's concerned that I'm traumatized, and the fact that I keep reliving this accident. And I literally thought I was gonna die. I was literally bracing for death. So, they're concerned. And he assured me that, you're going in the hospital for this, so that shouldn't complicate the surgery. So I take him at his word if I believe I should be in the hospital. I did go to the collision shop where my car is, not knowing what to expect. But when I was on the phone with the receptionist at the collision and body shop, I asked her, is the car totaled? And she said, hon, it's beyond totaled. So I really didn't know what to expect. I had to rent a car, which I was apprehensive at first, but the insurance company said I'm entitled. And then when I realized I had to go to the collision shop to, remove all my personal items from the car, so I had no choice. I had to rent the car. And so far I'm doing okay, despite that horrible trauma I went through with the complete destruction of my car. So when I arrived at the collision shop, I saw the car right there, and I said, oh my God, how did I survive that? I mean, the whole front of the car was completely destroyed. The engine was destroyed. The windshield was cracked. And I just couldn't believe it. And then the whole car, everything was thrown all over the place in the car. And then they had to remove the bumper, and they threw that in the car. So the car's a total loss. And I was just in shock. And then I wanted to take pictures of the car. And I even had the lady, she gave me a big hug when I came. She knew exactly who I was. I told her I'm transgender. So when she saw me in a pretty dress, and she knew right away it was me, and she gave me a big hug because I was crying, basically. I'm grieving the loss of my car, as silly as that sounds, but it's true. And then I was so upset because I thought I lost this little guy, because he's my dashboard friend. Uh, and, you know, even though this is a Beanie Baby, to me it's part of me, because the first day I drove out of the dealership when I first bought the car. I looked at my dashboard and I said, I need to put something there. Girls like to put something, cute there. So I knew I had the Beanie Baby, so I looked at them, and this one stuck out at me. So this became my dashboard buddy, dashboard friend, my dashboard, uh, I call her Lamb Chop. And so Lamb Chop was always with me when I drove, even in this horrific car accident. And I forgot to take her when I, ran out of the car. So I realized, oh my God, I forgot my little friend. And so when I went to get all my personal belongings, I happened to see this little guy, or girl, she's a female, a Lamb Chop. And I saw her still in the dashboard area. So I took her. I was so happy I found her. And then I said to myself, well, Lamb Chop and I both survived that accident, and we shouldn't have. We were very lucky. To show you the accident, I have stills. I'm going to do many videos regarding this. But I had stills of all the pictures, and I put it into my iPhone Movie Maker. So it's a silent compilation of the pictures at the scene, and a lot of them are duplicated. But I thought, that would be the effect. You go from the one picture that's the same as the next picture, but it would highlight things, and I must have took like over 60 photos. So that's in the video, and I'm going to do other videos because I was doing a recording as I'm walking around the car, showing the extent of all the damages. So I have a couple of videos I want to get out there. But Lamb Chop and I survived. And now what's going to follow after this is the compilation. No music or anything set to it, it's just silence, and it'll show you all the pictures. So I'm gonna say bye for now. I'm, trying to heal as best I can, and be prepared for the, don't just stop at this. Look at the pictures. So this is Emily Iannelli and Lamb Chop, my little friend, my dashboard friend, saying goodbye for now. Oh, one other thing I forgot to say is I had a great day. Earlier in the day, I went to a picnic at Sunken Meadow State Park, and it was fantastic. I got to see my coach, because it was in honor of Coach for being tremendous teacher, role model coach, and he really treated me with respect. He recruited me for the team, and I had the best experience of my life back then in high school. I got to make friends with all the other cross-country runners, and I got to reunite with some of them, and it was really great. And we took lots of pictures, which I'm going to also put into a video format, and it was wonderful. And I was all excited. It was hard to say goodbye. Obviously, I met some new friends because some of my cross-country running mates brought either their spouse or their girlfriend. So it was a great experience, and I got to say hello and met new friends, and it was great. So I'm on my way home after that beautiful experience, and we all embraced each other before we left. And they also accepted me as Emily. Based on social media, they knew I came out as male to female transgender, and they embraced me. So I was all excited, because I did have some trepidations about going, but they treated me with love and respect, and they said I'm doing a great thing, and they respected my journey. And then I took off and said goodbye to them. Oh, before we took off, each of us, we we took additional group photos with Coach, with some of my teammates. So it was special, and I had all those pictures to chronicle the memories. The only thing I was upset about was I didn't take any video. I should have took video and give a mini interview to all my cross-country runners, but unfortunately I didn't. But I have pictures at least. So I'm leaving Sunken Meadow State Park and heading home, and I made it to Hempstead Turnpike, and I decided I want to get my son a movie that he was asking for. So I went heading towards the Target in Levittown, and it's ironic because I usually go to the Target in Hicksville, but I figured I'm on Hempstead Turnpike. All I have to do is continue on heading east, because Target is east of where I live in Levittown. And on my way there, I encountered something wrong with my accelerator because it seemed to have stuck. I'm going 45 miles an hour, Hempstead Turnpike, Levittown, lots of cars on the road. And then I tried to brake and I couldn't. So I said, oh my God, I have to do something. Otherwise I'm going to plow into the car in front of me, and the car behind me is going to plow into mine. It's going to be a total catastrophe, possibly a fatality. And then I swerved to my right to avoid the car in front of me. I didn't know where I was going to wind up. Then I hit a curb, went slightly airborne, and as I'm ready to make contact with a tree, it seemed, and bushes, I literally thought I was going to die on impact. So I was bracing myself for my impending death. I had to come to the reality that I'm going to die, and I was bracing myself for that. But luckily, it wasn't my time yet, because I survived the accident, luckily. And then I looked around for my phone. I couldn't find it. I just wanted to get the hell out of that car. And I also forgot my little friend. And then I just went back, to survey the car, and I luckily found my phone. I grabbed it and I just went out. I fell to the ground. I was total shock. I was in a daze. I was very confused. The whole incident was surreal. I had no control of that car going 45 miles an hour. Luckily, I swerved to my right to avoid hitting the car in front of me, because that would have been deadly. I would have hit him at 45 miles an hour. He could have died. I could have died. And the car behind me would have hit me. So I can't even imagine what the result would be. But luckily that didn't happen. And, basically I was lucky I hit the tree and the surrounding bushes, because it deflected the blowback to me, the force. And I had my seatbelt on, all the airbags deployed, and I was just grateful my son wasn't in the car with me, because that would have been horrific. So I was alone with my little travel buddy, the dashboard friend Lamb Chop. And when I went there, I saw Lamb Chop. I was excited, so I grabbed her. I emptied the contents of my car with my rental car that I truly needed. And they gave me my plates, so I have to go to DMV to surrender the plates. I'm driving a rental right now. Who knows if I'm going to be able to drive a car. I don't even think I'm going to be able to right now, but I can't function without a car. I've been driving for 40 years, since I was 18 in high school. So it's going to be devastating if I'm unable to drive a car. Plus, I'm, I guess, considered high risk now, even though this was an accident beyond my control. So I'm going to see what plays out. Plus, I have a 5-year loan remaining on my Toyota, and how the heck I'm going to be paying for that loan even though I don't have a car anymore. So I'm hoping that insurance will come in and do what has to be done, and I'm hoping that I can still drive a car. I don't know if I'm going to get the settlement or I have to surrender it to Toyota, since I have 5 years remaining on the loan.
and I'm hoping I get some money. And I'm also, I'm hoping that I can find an attorney who could represent me with regard to the potential malfunction of my car regarding the accelerator and the brakes. But I'm having a hard time securing an attorney because they seem to be more interested if I had extensive physical injuries. And I have superficial wounds, like basically I have this, and I had some, cut around here, and it was like black and blue, but it's healing. I think over time this will heal. So, that's their main concern. So, let's say I broke my arm or my leg got amputated through the accident, then they would represent you, but thank God that's not the case with me. So, it still needs to be determined if I'm gonna have legal representation. And I'm new to all this because I never had an accident of this magnitude. I've had accidents in the past, but they were, minor incidents, but police reports still had to be filed. And this obviously had to be filed. And I said, because the police officer asked me, is this a suicide attempt? And I said, no, it's not. Because he knew I was taken to the hospital for an overdose on prescription medication, which was deliberate in attempts of committing suicide. So luckily, it didn't happen. I didn't get killed. It wasn't a fatal car accident. It was one car accident. I avoided the car in front of me, and if I didn't, I would have hit him. The car behind me would have hit me, and it could have been a catastrophe. So, whatever good you can take from a horrible situation, I guess the one thing I can say is I did not hit a car. I avoided it. I knew that I had to do that, and I'm just amazed that I did this within a split second of hitting that car. And that's when I went airborne after hitting the curb and crashed. But the trees and the bushes kind of braced going out. It brought my car to a dead stop. Because if that wasn't there, who knows where my car could have wound up. And if I hit a building instead of the tree and the brush, the full impact would blow back to me at that full force. Whereas with the tree and bushes, it deflected that force, so it wasn't as bad as it could have been with a fixed wall. So I'm just lucky that that was there, because when I swerved, I had no idea where I was gonna wind up. So I was very lucky, and my little pal, Lamb Chop, was lucky too, my dashboard friend. So we're in we're all, one piece, we're safe. Mentally though, that's another story. And that's what my psychiatrist is so concerned about. And I may be leaning to take her up on her offer to, voluntarily have the police take me and then maybe be evaluated for the next 2 weeks. Because I've made all my calls, but I have not yet secured an attorney. I paid my mortgage. I do have a couple of bills outstanding, but that's for financial reasons, because my financial resources are not so good. So I have to sometimes play what is more important, obviously the mortgage. And when all of that stuff is paid for, I couldn't afford yet to pay the cable or the utility, and I still need to. So I'm hoping when I get my next monthly pay that it will work itself out. And I do have credit cards too. And unfortunately right now I'm paying, the minimum. Plus I have many doctor bills that I have to figure out how to pay. So it's like a financial mess. So I'm hoping everything works out. I'm hoping I get a couple of thousand if I really want to get a car, because that would be the source of my down payment. And I also know that the bulk of the monies will definitely have to be surrendered to the Toyota Financial Services. So anyway, Lamb Chop and I are gonna say goodbye. I'll probably do a follow-up video as to what happens with the insurance, the decisions. And now, to follow this, you'll see a compilation silent of the car, and you'll see the damage. So, watch that. Don't, skip out. Because the combination of this with that, you'll see the impact. Anyway, goodbye for now. I will do other videos regarding this matter. And I say goodbye, and that we're grateful that we survived. Okay, don't forget, watch the video with the cars, even though it's silent, it is still powerful. Okay, and that's like maybe 11 or 12 minutes. So this video is going to be pretty long because it's coming up on 30 minutes and then the 12 minutes. So we're talking about 42 minutes, possibly 45 minutes. So I hope you have the patience to see it in its entirety. Okay, so goodbye. I love you all, and we're just grateful that we live another day, escaped the accident, and it just wasn't our time. We're still here, there's a purpose, and I know one of the reasons that I'm here is because I need to help my son. Hi, this is Emily Ionelli. I never thought I'd be doing a video such as this. I got my little friend here, my dashboard friend. I call her Lamb Chop. And she never left me, never abandoned me. Me and her have been friends, and she is my traveling companion. I mean, I bring my son out too. I love my son. We like to go out. But when I'm driving alone, I got my little friend here. And, you know, we never had any problems. You know, I had a few fender benders, you know, every now and then. Nothing really serious. There was exactly, if I count on my hand, I could probably count to, let me see. I bought my car, Toyota Prius C, back in October of 2017. So we're in 2019. We're in the month of August. So if it went out to October 2019, it would be 2 years. So I actually had the car for 1 year and 10 months, not quite 2 years, but we'll round up to 2 years. Now, the reason why I'm making this video, and I got my little buddy here with me, my son's my little buddy, but my little sheep pal, and I never traveled alone, essentially, when I travel with my son, obviously, but even if I am alone, technically I'm not, because I have my little friend at the dashboard. And I put her there the very first day I had my car, when it was brand spanking new. And I was all excited, and I said, I need to put something on the dashboard that would help me, you know, like a little something cute. You know, girls like little cute things to put in their car. And then, you know, I collected Beanie Babies a long time. In fact, I gave out like 100 Beanie Babies when I got married with my wife. You know, you get like a complimentary gift. Well, in addition to the complimentary gift, I saw that our staff at the wedding would put a Beanie Baby on all the chairs, and all the kids went crazy. Like, they'd be scooping them up from all the chairs. So some, mostly adults, didn't get one, but it was intended for everyone. But the kids won out, and they ran off with more Beanie Babies than you could even imagine. So what happened? This past Sunday, I had a great day. I went to see my coach from my high school cross-country team, in addition to my former teammates and some other JFK runners that ran before I did or after I did. I graduated with the class of 79. I met some nice guys who ran, like I said, either a few years before or a few years after, even more than that. So we had a great day. You know, I was there for the first time as Emily. Nobody, you know, knew that I was, I mean, they knew because of social media, but they didn't know how I looked, you know, because I look a lot different than how I used to be. So I was a little nervous, and, you know, I drove there. In fact, I took video. I have this little holder by my windshield that doesn't obstruct my view, and I put my camera in sometimes, and I take video of the road trip. I do it now mostly for my son. He loves those road trip videos. So I'm driving, heading towards Sunken Meadow. I got my little friend here on the dashboard. I got the camera taking the part of the trip to Sunken Meadow State Park in Suffolk County. I'm coming from Levittown in Nassau County. And I got like maybe in 2 recordings about 20 minutes, which I'll put on a video. But the reality is that I was anxious. I was excited getting to see all my former running mates. And it's been like, well, yeah, it's been 40 years for most of us, with some exceptions, because my coach, we celebrated his 75th birthday, and that was maybe 5 or so years ago. But when I went to that celebration for Coach, I didn't, I was too nervous to go as Emily, so I went as Eddie. So I had a suit and tie on, you know, I had my short haircut. So, but this time I dressed as Emily, dressed as a woman. I felt good, I looked different. But everybody accepted me, you know, they were excited for me, you know, women and guys. And they treated me so nice and made me feel so welcome. And it was a great day, you know, everything was great. Got to see Coach, give him a hug, talked, reminisced. Same thing with my former running mates. You know, it was really fun. And we ate and we drank water. I drink water mostly. I had like a couple of glasses of Coca-Cola, or cups, I mean, of Coca-Cola. So water and Coke. The only problem with Coca-Cola is it doesn't quench your thirst, and it makes you dehydrated. So I gotta kick the sugar drinks and just drink water. Water is great. You know, when I'm thirsty, I go for a nice cold bottle of water, and it's amazing how refreshing it is and how it quenches your thirst. We took pictures. I should have used my video camera actually, but I didn't even think about it. But we took pictures. We got pictures from other running mates and attendees at the party for Coach, who also took pictures. So I've been tagged in quite a few pictures, and then I liked them, so I made sure I got those pictures on my Facebook page in addition to my pictures, you know, and others tagged some of my pictures to their page. So it was a lot of fun, you know, and I got to talk to people who I haven't seen in a long time, got to meet their wives or girlfriends, in this case, with my male running mates. And, you know, we got nice weather, we had nice gathering of people, it was a good turnout. And we reminisced, we talked. So everything was beautiful, you know, and it was hard to say goodbye to everybody, because I realized, you know, we won't see each other probably again. This is like, you know, very rare that we get together like that from, you know, and all, you got to remember too, all the cross-country runners are spread throughout the whole country. So, you know, we have from Pennsylvania to Florida to New Jersey, Ohio, you know, South Carolina. They're all over the place. So, you know, it's hard to get a reunion where we can have, you know, runners from all parts of the United States. So that made it special when they made the trip. And Massachusetts also. So we were saying our goodbyes after the party function. It was like a 4-hour, 12 to 4. Originally it was 12 to 6, but I don't know what happened, so it was really now down to from 12 to 4. And yeah, everything was great. So I started, you know, after I sang goodbye and give hugs out to everyone, I felt sad, but, you know, I got to spend a great day with these people who I love. I got in my car, you know, put my GPS on, and started heading home. And, you know, I drove the parkways, and then I exited
and then I exited finally to Hempstead Turnpike, near where I live in Levittown. So I'm driving on Hempstead Turnpike, and I wanted to make a pit stop at Target. I wanted to pick up my son a movie. So I'm heading eastbound on Hempstead Turnpike towards the Target. And there's a Stop and Shop next to it also. It's by Wantor Avenue. And everything's going great. I was happy, so happy. I got to see all my teammates. I got to see coach and families and spouses, and it was fun. Got to hang out, got to talk. You know, some even ran. I'm not in the shape to run anymore, unfortunately. I walk instead now. So I'm on the Hempstead Turnpike, and all of a sudden I noticed there's something wrong with the car, and I started to, get worried. For some reason, it seemed like something happened with the accelerator. I couldn't ease up. I tried, I took my foot off, but it seemed like it got stuck or something. So I went to pump the brakes, and the brakes weren't working because the accelerator was jammed. So here I am going 45 miles an hour on Hempstead Turnpike with my little sheep friend here, Lamb Chop. And I'm about 45 miles an hour, basically. I have a car in front of me, I have a car behind me, and I have cars to the left of me. I'm in the right lane. So I'm driving towards Target in Levittown, and then I start to lose control of the car because I couldn't, the accelerator was stuck. There was nothing really I could do, and the brakes couldn't work because the accelerator. So here I am going 45 miles an hour. There's a car in front of me, a car behind me, and I'm about to hit the car in front of me, and God forbid I did. If I hit that car in front of me going 45 miles an hour, it doesn't look good. But then on top of that, if you factor in that the car behind me, because we have an abrupt stop because of the accident, then that car behind me plows into my car, and I can't see, if we're all going 45 miles an hour roughly, how we could survive such an impact. So, as in shock that I was, I had the presence of mind to know I had to swerve around this driver, otherwise I would hit him directly. So I swerved to my right to avoid hitting the car in front of me, and I didn't know where I was going, but the car was still speeding at 45 miles an hour. I had no control of it, and I hit a curb, and I went slightly airborne, and then as I'm in the sky ready to make impact, I literally thought I was going to die. I was preparing to die, basically. And, my main concern was my son. I was, if I died on the spot there, it would devastate my son, so I couldn't. I just was preparing to die, basically. And as as the car goes slightly airborne, I have no control. I'm at 45 miles an hour, and I plow into a tree with my little sheep friend, and it was horrendous. I never felt so scared in my life. It was It was terrifying. I had no control, and I literally thought I was gonna die. And as I hit the tree with the surrounding bushes, my airbag deployed. Front, both passenger and driver, and back. Passenger on this side, passenger on this side. And I usually drive with my son, so thank God I didn't. I don't even want to think what could have happened. So I'm glad he wasn't in the car with me. I was solo, but I had my little sheep friend, Lamb Chop. And
what do I say after that? I made impact. And I know there were three things on my side. I was wearing my seatbelt securely. The airbags deployed and cushioned me, protecting me. And the fact is that I crashed into a tree with surrounding bushes, so it kind of deflected the energy of impact, so it wasn't as severe as it could have been. Now let's change the circumstances. Let's say instead of crashing into a tree with surrounding bushes, let's say that's a building. Because when I swerved, I had no idea where I was going. The car was out of control, and I was just fortunate that it landed where the tree and the bushes were, because it cushioned my fall and it dissipated the energy that came back at me and with as force. So if that was a building structure instead of a tree with the bushes surrounding it, I would have died on impact, no doubt. 45 miles an hour, crashing into a building, forget it. I would have been dead instantly. So as I reached for my phone to get the hell out of the car, and it was a challenge because the airbags deployed, so it was very hard to get around that. So as soon as I got out of the car, I fell to the grass and I started crying, you know. I mean, I was like in shock, dazed, confused, not knowing what just happened. I mean, I never had an accident of that magnitude. And I was shaken up. And then the Good Samaritans came out. 5 cars must have stopped, pulled over, jeopardizing their, lives with the cars. And they ran over after they put their emergency flashes on, I would suspect. And they said, "Are you okay?" I even heard one guy say, "My God, the woman was driving straight, like, just like any other driver, and all of a sudden you see this car hit a curb, go airborne, and then crash into bushes and tree." And this individual said, "I've never seen anything like that." And when the first police officer came on site, it was funny because he was at my house many times when I'm going through a very bad depressive episode, manic episode, or I threaten suicide on a phone to a third party representative. And, the moment I threaten suicide, that's it. The police come and they take you to the hospital. Well, the first police officer on the site of the accident knew me. He's saying, Emily, what's going on? Don't tell me this is a suicide attempt, because he knows my history. And I said, no, it's not. I said it was my accelerator. I had problems with the accelerator, and I couldn't stop the car. And I'm going at 45. If I don't swerve to my right, I'm going to hit the car in front. The car in back is going to hit me, and it's going to be a very bad situation. Even if any of us would survive such an impact like that, a double impact. So, it was very difficult. I was dazed, confused. I had no sense of what was going on. It was like a nightmare, basically, but it was real. So the police officer, I told him what happened, and, the first thing he says is, "You're lucky. You're very lucky you survived this." And when I saw the car today at the repair shop, the collision shop where I said I was going to come in to retrieve my possessions in the car. And when I saw the car, I was so devastated. At the accident site, I was taken to NUMC, Natural University Medical Center in East Meadow. And police did their police report. And then they subsequently got in touch with the tow driver,
who took it to the repair shop, collision shop, and I made arrangements to go there. Now, one thing I learned when you don't have a car is it sure sucks trying to get around places. So I was a little leery about getting into a car again because my insurance company said, you're entitled to a rental car. So I said, let me sleep on it. And then I got a call, oh, you gotta empty your personal belongings from the car. So I said, how the heck am I gonna get there? It's in Bethpage. So I called up my insurance company because I was kind of on the fence originally. And I said, I need the car, I need to rent it. I have no choice. Plus the insurance company is gonna cover that. So I got the car. It's a Hyundai Accent. And, I'm able to drive. Obviously, what they say, if you fall off the horse, you get back on it. So basically, it's kind of similar, And, so I'm driving over to the collision place, and I see my car in the parking lot, and I couldn't help but cry. I'm grieving the loss of my car. It was very nice car. It had its problems, No car, no human being is perfect. But it was a good car, I liked it, and it was a hybrid. Unfortunately, due to the nature of my accident and that it was high impact, the whole front of the car was destroyed. And the day before, I said, the police officer at the site, my friend, I said, so what do you think? Is the car totaled? And he looks at me and he says, yeah, Emily, it's totaled. So, And then I called the collision shop, and I was making a arrangement to come today. Well, yesterday, I guess, now. Thursday. And, I saw the car and I was devastated. I cried. The receptionist knew when she saw me. She knows I'm transgender, and I had a dress on, so she knew me. I spoke to her on the phone, and I asked her, before I went the next day, is the car totaled? And she said, honey, it's beyond totaled. And now I know what she means. If you look at my pictures and a soon-to-be-released video, you'll see the damage. And it's bad. I never envisioned that I would even get into an accident of that magnitude. But, it happens. It's unexpected. You don't expect it to happen. You don't do it deliberately. It was just a freak thing. And, it could be mechanical failure. I don't know. I need to talk to an attorney. But it was horrible. I saw the car. I thought about the memory, even though this was short-lived car, less than 2 years. And I just had to kind of grasp what was going on. I still have to mail in the no fault for the medical. I actually did today. Yeah, thank God I got that out in the mail. And, I was lucky. I was going through my depression, and it's hard now because I really don't have a way to get around other than now the rental car. But if the rental car, has to end within let's say no later than a month, what do I do after that? I need a car. I need to get around. Unfortunately, I don't have the financial resources to buy a car, other than maybe, if I'm lucky, put on financing agreement for a second-hand reliable car. But right now I just don't know, and then I have to call insurance. I gotta deal with these people, and I also have to deal with the impact of this has affected here. It's very bad. my physical injuries are pretty minor given the extent of the accident. So really, this is like luckily this is the worst of my wounds. So when I was taken to NUMC, they did tons of X-rays. You know, they brought me in the trauma unit, and you know, after all the results came back negative, I was good. But you know, then they had me sit with a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist determined that I should be considered for admission. So I went down to Area 4 with their psych before they go up to a floor where they're going to be admitted, obviously. So I was waiting, and then I finally got to talk to the psychiatrist, and I've seen her before. She knows my case. She's familiar with the whole history, and also my son, because Matthew was there too on various occasions as well as I. So we're like regulars there now. But I couldn't take the magnitude of how bad that car accident was. It literally destroyed the whole front of my car. And I was devastated. Like, I'm grieving for a piece of metal, basically, in my car. I need to drive. I need to get around. Otherwise, I'm going to get stir crazy. I'm going to get sick. I'm going to get more depressed than ever. I'm more isolated. It's no good. So I got to figure out what the insurance company, and I may need an attorney, and I'm not having such good luck with that. You know, and I don't know if I even have the right to sue Toyota, thinking that this should never have happened and there's something wrong where your accelerator gets stuck. I just don't know how to. This is gonna take time. I mean, I'm very much affected. Well, I'm in shock, but there's another word I'm trying to find. What is it called? I'm traumatized, you know? I'm literally traumatized. I keep reliving this accident in my head over and over and over again. I'm like going crazy, you know? And my friend Chase said, why don't we just get out? We got to do something, you know, get your mind off of this nonsense. So we went to the Broadway Mall in Hicksville, and my friend Chase likes to sing karaoke, because that's what we do at the LGBT Center when they have karaoke night in Queens. So we are doing, he treated me to ice cream. I got my two favorite flavors, coffee and mint chocolate chip. And he got strawberry in a cone, whereas I got my ice cream in a cup. You know, and we're eating out ice cream. And then we went to the karaoke room, and we did karaoke for like an hour or so. It was fun, because I like doing karaoke now, ever since I was convinced to go on stage at the LGBT Center in Queens. So now it's like one of my favorite activities. And I was enjoying that. And then he had to return some things at the store, so we got a couple of pictures together. Yeah, Chase, he's a good guy. He's one of my best friends, one of my best transgender friends, and one of my best regular friends, you know? We're both transgender. Male to female, I am. He's female to male. But it's funny how we just get along, you know? There's no romance or anything. We're just good friends, you know? We try to help each other, you know? And it helps. It really does. And he compliments me on how I dress. It's funny, he's female to male, yet he helps me buy pretty dresses and all. You know, he gives me some pointers. So, and he always tell me, get the hair out of your eyes. So, you know, he's helpful. But when I saw those pictures, when I took those pictures, I was crying basically. And the receptionist was so nice to me. She gave me a hug. She was trying to get me to look on the bright side of this whole thing. And I asked her, could you do me a favor? Can you take a picture of me by the car? I mean, this was my car, and now it's total loss, but it was my car, and there's nothing I can do. After an impact like that, 45 miles an hour crashing into a stationary object with not much give, I'm lucky to be alive, you know. So she hugged me, She knew I was depressed and devastated over this, and that I was stressed out, and I was traumatized, What can I say, You're driving on a major roadway, 45 miles an hour, car in front of you, car behind you, cars next to you on the left side. You never think in a million years you're gonna all of a sudden go out of control with no warning or anything. And I guess it would be similar to like a tire blowout, where you lose total control of the car and it could veer anywhere. But that wasn't the case with my car. My car seemed to have some mechanical failure with regard to the accelerator and also with regard to the braking system, because I couldn't even brake the car. Brake when you come to a stop. And, I don't know much about these kind of accidents where something like an accelerator could get stuck. I never heard of that before. But based on my experience, I knew there was something wrong with that accelerator, because I couldn't ease up and slow down. It was just like stuck, and there was nothing I could do. I tried, but there was absolutely nothing I could do. So I'm bracing myself as I'm ready to make impact to die. I'm saying, this is it, it's over. And I felt guilty. I didn't say goodbye to my son, my wife, and it was heartbreaking, devastating. I literally thought I was gonna die. And I survived, and when I look at the pictures that I took at the site, I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe I even survived this. And I'm not being over dramatic. I'm telling you, if I didn't have my seatbelt on, if those protective airbags did not deploy, I'm thinking I'm dead, Just same like if I crashed into a wall. It wouldn't matter that I had all of these emergency contingency plans in place. Because if your car is something that all of a sudden becomes something out of control because of some malfunction, you can die. So, I was able to walk away from this accident, as brutal as it looked, and I'm just happy to be alive, I've done some stupid things, but getting my life back in order, and I need to be here for my son, So, I guess my friend and I are going to say bye, and then once I get another car, if I'm able to, and the insurance doesn't go sky high, I'm going to put my little friend Lamb Chop on that dashboard. But it's probably going to be a second-hand car, hopefully a good one, reliable. But that remains to be seen. So I'm hanging in there as best I can. I'm depressed, and I'm trying to do what I can to get my mind distracted. And social media is one way. Going out with my friends like Chase and Patty and stuff, that's a good thing. And also I go out on occasion with, I go with, why am I not remembering her name? I just know her name. Ashley. Yeah, Ashley, Ashley, Patty, and Chase. And Chase is the opposite of me and Patty and my other friends who are male to female, because Chase is female to male. But what can I say? I don't have a car now. I'm renting a car. I don't know for how long. I have no idea how the insurance is going to play out, or Toyota, how that's going to play out. I don't know if I'm responsible for the 5 years remaining on the loan, being that the car is a total loss. You know, and I hate to have to pay insurance on a car I no longer have due to an accident. Accidents do happen. So I'm hoping that everything works out so I can have peace of mind and then start focusing again on my son and myself, and hopefully having surgery in September 10th, which I think is going to impact my ability to go to my high school reunion, 40-year high school reunion. So I have to cross that bridge when I get there. So, in essence, the basis for this video is to say that I was lucky. I survived a near-death car crash. I'm not overly exaggerating. It's really true. You look at the pictures and you'll see. So, I survived that. And I'm worried about Matthew, you know, and I need a car and all that good stuff. So, the more I think about it, the more I get more upset. So I just have to distance myself from that reality and talk to friends. Friends always help. And the LGBT center, I need to find a group for my son's autism. But I'm tired. I haven't slept in days because of this accident and how it keeps playing in my head. It's horrible. So, until next time, I'll say goodbye. I am going to upload some of my videos based on this unfortunate accident. And I welcome you all to check it out if you're okay with that. So anyway, Lamb Chop and I are going to say bye. We're going to say goodbye, and we love you. And Lamb Chop and I get another day to survive. So we're lucky. Right, Lamb Chop? Yeah. Alright, bye. Say bye, Lamb Chop. Bye, Emily. Love you guys. Thank you.
there's no other way. You know your circus tent is falling in on itself, on itself. You took the money and a net of safety for yourself, for yourself. Yeah, there's no other way. We don't need you anymore. Strike it down and dig it up. Yeah, there's a better way. Find harmony before we strike it down and give it up. The dark night of your sin is closing in on itself, on itself. Your wicked wallet with is growing thin. Blame yourself, yeah, blame yourself. Yeah, there's no other way. We don't need you anymore. Strike it down and dig it up. Yeah, there's a better way. Find harmony before we strike it down and give it up. Through your corruption, we lost everything, and your destruction is just down and give it up. Start again. Give it up. Start again. Give it up. Start again. Give it up. Start again.
Hi, my name is Emily Iannelli, and I'm at the body shop. I'm about to leave now. I emptied the car, the Prius, my car, of all my personal effects, and I'm about to leave. I'm grateful that I'm still here, that my car did what it's supposed to in the event of a high-impact collision. I'm a little bit shocked. Also, I'm looking at that car. I took many pictures. I even did video. And I must say, I didn't know what to expect. But, yeah, it's pretty bad. I don't have a car now. I don't know. I'm going to try to get back driving and hopefully be able to get a car and hopefully have insurance that somebody won't turn me down. I don't know if my current insurer will continue. Plus, I don't even know if I'll have a car because of my limited financial resources. But I don't know. I'm still trying to deal with the aftermath of a major car accident. Thank God it was only me in the car, not my son, and thank God I didn't crash into another car with the driver and any passengers. I'm just grateful for that. And I did react in a responsible way. I knew if I kept going straight, I would have plowed into that car in front of me, and then the car in back of me most likely would hit my car from the rear. But thank God that didn't happen. And God knows, possibly death may have occurred with me or the driver in front of me or the driver behind me. Or maybe we all could have got seriously injured or worse, even possibly died. So I'm still here. It's not my time. And I'm grateful. I still have work to do here, especially for my son. I wish I could get back to a relatively normal life, working again, but I've been out of work now for 7 years, so it doesn't look likely. The only thing that keeps me going now is my writing. My family, of course, my son, and some friends, and social media, and writing, But, today was a bad day to see, finally, the aftermath of the accident. Yeah, it is. The car is beyond total. Toyota Prius C, bought it in October of 2017. Died on, I believe, July 28th, 2019, on a Sunday, after a glorious day where I got to reunite with my coach, his family, and my fellow teammates for my cross-country and track teams that I had the good fortune of running because of my coach. Coach means so much to me, and I love him. I love all my former teammates. It was a good day until this unfortunate incident where I was involved in a high-impact collision on Sunday, roughly around 5-ish or 5:30 p.m. on Hempstead Turnpike in Levittown, as I was trying to get my son a movie he was asking me for, going to Target. And I sometimes wonder if I decided to go to the Target in Hicksville rather than the Target in Levittown, I would assume that my car would be okay and I would have not been involved in this accident. But fate has a weird way of happening, because I was not expecting to be in a severe car accident, and I can't go and create what could have been, because I don't know. All I know is I was heading for the Target in Levittown rather than the Target in Hicksville, where I usually shop. When I go to Target, I usually go to the one in Hicksville because it's straight route 106 north, and it's about 2.5 miles from my house, whereas Levittown Target is longer. But I do go there sometimes because it's near the movie theater. But I do go to the Levittown, the Target in Hicksville too, because I like their movie theater as well. Well, I have my therapy session today, which is good. I'm going to post these pictures on my Facebook page and some on my Instagram page. I've also created videos which I'm going to post on YouTube. The one suggestion I would say is due to the graphic pictures of my car in the aftermath of the accident, my Toyota Prius C color black. It may trigger some, so I'll advise warning if you still want to see the car post this accident, high-speed collision, high-impact collision. And I can only say this: thankfully I crashed into a tree and surrounding bushes at the 45 mile per hour that I was going, because if that tree and those bushes weren't there and was replaced with a building structure, there's no way I could have survived. So that also is fate, that I crashed into a tree with surrounding bushes, which deflected the force exerted back on me from the force exerted into the crash. And thank God I did crash into the trees and bushes, because if I didn't, I don't know where that car would have went. It just went totally out of control. And right before the accident, I had trouble with my accelerator. It was like it got stuck, and I never had encountered that ever with any car I owned, which this, I believe, was my 6th car. I never had problems with my other cars. So there must have been some kind of mechanical failure. The problem is I can't secure an attorney. They don't represent these kind of matters for some reason, because they say my personal injuries were minor, and they only go for the personal injuries where somebody suffered, their head hitting the windshield, which I was fortunate not to have happen. I had my seatbelt on, thankfully, which I always do, for that matter. And I had the airbags deploy front and back, which also protected me. Otherwise, I might have hit the windshield. And hitting the windshield at 45 miles per hour, I could have flown through that windshield if the airbags failed to deploy. So that is one thing that worked with that Toyota, which saved my life. And if that impact was into a wall, I would be dead. I don't even have a doubt. If it was a wall, I would have been dead. And right before I made impact, after swerving to avoid the car in front of me and possibly the car behind me, I was lucky enough that I had the forethought to swerve to my right, not knowing what I was going to hit. It's not like I saw the tree and the bushes. I didn't know what the heck I was driving into. Then I hit the curb, I went slightly airborne, and I said, this is it. This is how I'm going to die. I was literally bracing for the fact that I was going to die. But I didn't. I survived. And now I gotta live my life to the fullest, because life is very precious and we just don't know. And I'm grateful also that I got to meet my former teammates, my coach. We had a picnic in honor of Coach, who sadly is starting to lose his memory. He's a great man. He saved my life back in high school. He got me involved on the track and cross-country teams. And I owe a lot to my coach, and that's why I wanted to be there. And being that I'm transgender, I did have some reservations and concerns, but everyone accepted me. You know, they treated me with kindness and respect, and that's all I could ask for. You know, I got to meet my former teammates, I got to see Coach, we got to take pictures. It was a beautiful day, sunny, we ate nice foods, drinks, but after that picnic, that was the worst thing that ever happened to me. And I'm just grateful my son wasn't in the car with me, because he usually is when I go out driving. I guess that's it. I'm holding back my emotions and my tears, but deep down I'm crying on the inside. But I'm still here, and I'm grateful for that. My mom and dad from heaven must have been looking down on me, sent guardian angels to protect me, and God and Jesus made that happen. So I'm grateful to my parents who are up in heaven, the guardian angels looking over me, and God and Jesus for giving me a new lease on life. This is a wake-up call because I did attempt suicide in January of 2019. And on July 28th, I survived a high-impact collision accident and lived to tell about it and walk away, thankfully. Bye for now, Emily. Hi, this is Emily Ionelli. I'm doing a video about the unfortunate accident that I was in on Sunday, July 28th, 2019, coming home from a wonderful day at Sunken Meadow State Park, getting to reunite with my coach at JFK Belmore High School, JFK High School in Belmore, New York. I had got a chance to reunite with my coach on the cross-country team, Coach Alan J. Burkowski, and I got to see many of my former teammates. It was wonderful. I had a great time. Unfortunately, after I left, after such a wonderful day, the rest of the day was a nightmare as I got involved in a major high-impact collision. Luckily, I was the only car involved. Could have been a lot worse if I hit the car in front of me and then the car behind me hit me. It would have been devastation. Probably I would have died. Who knows what would happen to the other drivers in the other cars. But I survived, luckily. And my little pal, my sheep friend that I had on the dashboard, she survived as well, Lamb Chop. Lamb Chop and I survived this accident, and we're both very grateful. Lamb Chop and I got to walk away from the accident to live another day. Bye.
Proceed on the current freeway. "17 miles ahead on the route. Slow traffic." Continue on the current freeway. current freeway. Continue on the current freeway. freeway,